So this is Dan, and Dan has started a business called A to Z. Now Dan wants to build awareness of his business and the benefits that his training can bring to his clients. But Dan, like many other people before him, are unsure as to where they should start. Even with all the information that we have at our disposal today, making a start can remain unclear. And this is why we introduced Dan to our content ecosystem. And this is why Dan is actually really excited about creating content. So today we're going to take a practical look as to how we help Dan's journey into content creation and help him reach a wider audience, and why the principles that we are going to teach today can also help you too. So to give context, I've been attending networking events, and sometimes at these events you meet people where it just clicks. And that's how I met Dan, and his mission really resonated with me because the topics that he was discussing are issues that I'd faced in the past, and that had an impact on me. So today we're going to be looking at how we help Dan share his message and why it might matter to you too, because our success isn't based on flashy content. It's about practical strategies. It's all about creating great ideas and then maximizing on those ideas to make sure that we get the client gets the most out of their investment. Now, the core of Dan's business is teaching people who are suffering with anxiety at work strategies to recognize symptoms and create actionable steps before they actually get worse. And diving into Dan's journey, we didn't want to rush into the video production. We needed to understand Dan and his values, and this was key because it's all about authenticity, and through in-depth conversations we uncovered the core of his business. Now, this did take a few in-person meetings and others held over Zoom, but we believe that the video is just the byproduct of great communication. So until you have a firm understanding of your client, their core beliefs, the problems that they are trying to solve, and how they want the viewers to look, feel and think about them, the video is never really going to sit right with your client. So for a while we've been looking to create a package that will help our clients, an ecosystem if you will. Now this is just a package focusing on a client's theme, and our ecosystem features a blog, social media video and a podcast, and this all revolves around a central theme. Now for Dan, this started with prevention is better than cure, and each piece complements the other, creating a unified narrative for a more engaging viewer experience. Now how you structure your own package is up to you, but remember it must make sense to the clients you are serving, and you have to keep it grounded. Now this approach will make sure that every piece of content fits together. It's not rocket science, it's just making sure that everything makes sense to the audience. So the blog and the video tackle the subject of prevention is better than cure. The podcast will actually delve deeper. Now for the main social video, we must be more concise to make sure that the viewer engagement is not lost. The trade-off with this is that there's only so much information you can talk about before retention drops off. And this is where the podcast helps, because we can dig deeper into the script of the video and expand on areas that need further explanation that the main video just couldn't cover. And we are looking to create content that is timeless or as evergreen as much as we can. And the reason for this is simple. We want our content to last, and we want to make sure our clients get the most from the process. Now the theme surrounding prevention is better than cure isn't just for the day, it's for the long run. But remember, not all topics of conversation are timeless, and some weigh heavily on trends. So you have to assess what subjects are good candidates for evergreen content and those that are just for the present. Now for the main video, we needed a clean look without breaking the bank. A home setting was considered, but Dan wanted to keep this professional, and he also wanted to keep his home life separate, so we went with a green screen, keeping the focus on what really matters, which is the content. Now, there are no fancy locations here. The green screen was just a practical choice, saving costs and letting us focus on what we do best. Flexibility is also important. There are no hassles with external venues or weather. We recorded it when it suited Dan, keeping it stress-free. Now, the green screen it's not about glamour, but it is about practicality, a backdrop that matches the brand every time. So we looked at AI to create some relaxing backgrounds, and we settled on an image that we really liked. We made sure that the lighting on set matched that of the image, making sure that the two images blended together. Now, this just enhanced the quality of the work, making the final product feel much more authentic. So what did our work do for Dan? It's not just content. The ecosystem itself acts like a network. So every good idea, like prevention is better than cure, becomes its own bubble. The blog, social media, and podcasts, these are all connected around a core theme. And once all the core components have been created, we then start to split the content and create social media posts that are self-contained. And this means that each post provides the reader with value. But should the audience want to dig deeper, then we also guide viewers back to the main content and Dan's website. And this again it's not rocket science. It's not something new. The idea of breaking down content into bite-sized posts, keeping the engagement going, is simple, practical, and effective. But what we have done is that we have created a package for our clients that makes sense and maximizes on the message that they want to convey to their network. Now, why does a content schedule matter for evergreen content? We treat the schedule almost like a campaign, and consistency is key. A schedule keeps things ticking along, and in Dan's case, it's about getting the most out of each piece of content. The content itself will be released over a period of 12 months. Now, the duration of the campaign is not important. It's the context of what we are doing. You could do this for 2 weeks, 3, or even 6 months. It depends on what your client's goals are. And for this campaign, we will front load the campaign so that it creates awareness, and as time goes on, it will be spaced out. And we will give an example of this on screen, as it will illustrate when the content will be scheduled out. Now, this campaign is focusing on creating 15 social media posts for each social media platform. So if you publish to 5 social media platforms with 15 pieces of content per platform, that's 75 pieces of content. And those 75 pieces of content are all consistent, and they're all spreading Dan's message that prevention is better than cure. Now, to give context, this is just one campaign, and we have created 3 for Dan. So that's 225 pieces of high quality content coming from only 3 good ideas. Now, the benefits for Dan are massive. It also releases the burden of content idea fatigue, because we are maximizing Dan's value and investment on every idea that Dan has. And the best thing about this is that because it's evergreen, once the campaign is finished, we can run it again for another 12 months, and if we need to, perhaps tweak the copy of the posts to improve engagement if needed. The Datrysiad media ecosystem is practical and it makes sense. It is a package that we have created that caters to audiences with different preferences to consume content and to maximize on our clients' ideas. Now, in Dan's case, this has been fantastic, because whilst we have been creating the blog, we have refined the message and established the imagery and cohesive theme that will resonate throughout the ecosystem. Now, when you create your own package, You need to make sure that it makes sense to the clients that you are serving. Now, this is working fantastic for Dan, but it may not make sense, for all businesses. So you must be pragmatic in your approach when you are serving your clients. So if you like this content, please give me the thumbs up. And if you have a comment, then please feel free to connect with me. And if you are a business who is interested in hearing more about the service, then I'd love for you to get in touch with me. And until next time, cheers.